up
Munching.
Yeah, mentioned.
Munching.
Hi, welcome to Bogy and Dave. I'm your co-host, Dave, joined by my co-host, Bogy. And I alerted my co-host here to strap in because, folks, I have had it. This has been like the thing that snapped my back, okay? And the old camel jockey over here, my back is snapped. I've had it. I've had it with all of this racist baloney that I've listened to. I got to watch my language because we're on a show that's in prime time. so anyway,
Prime time.
yeah, I did some looking into, a little bit of homework.
Did you do some due diligence,
Yeah, I did
Dave?
some due diligence, and I looked at all of the things that have set the African American race back years, and the people and the groups that really hurt them the most. And it's just funny how the people that hurt them the most in the group were the people that they've hitched their wagons to, the complete Democrat Party. And as usual, I'm not going to just say I've got the evidence, I've got the photographs, I did the research, and the thing about it was to put me over the top was John Lewis, because every time he's mentioned in the news, they're going to say something like, the icon of civil rights fighting is John L. Lewis. Well, you know what he did? He was on a bridge in a march, and he got beat up. He got kicked around a little bit, and that was it. Mm-hmm. That's all he's ever done. For the rest of his life, all he ever did after that was point the fingers at everybody else, calling them racist. From every single white politician that stood on the other side of the aisle, he called them a racist. And he lied, misled, whatever you want to call it, when he said that this is the first inauguration that he's not attended in 30 years, which we found out, again, that was a lie.
George Bush's, he didn't go to.
He didn't go to George Bush, because what did he say about Bush? That Bush was not he was not a legitimate president. Same line he's handing about Trump. But anyways, Kevin, key up number one, slide number one. This is Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson was the president that took office because of the unfortunate killing of John F. Kennedy, okay? Just in case people out there don't know who he was, all right? Lyndon Johnson got into office because he was running against, in his first term when he ran against Barry Goldwater out of Arizona. And he painted Barry Goldwater to be a person who was going to cause the next nuclear war. In fact, he had a commercial of a little girl picking flowers, and in the background there's a mushroom cloud going up, and he and the Democrats painted Goldwater as if Goldwater was going to start the next nuclear war. I want to point out to everybody that this animal right here not only referred to African Americans, as you can see right there. I'll have those N-word, right, voting for Democrats the next 200 years because he got through the Civil Rights Bill. He didn't get it through. Yes, maybe he led it, but it was the Republicans by 90% that got it through compared to 61% of the Democrats who fought against it. Mm-hmm. Now, I also want to point out that Lyndon Johnson, we didn't get Barry Goldwater. What we got from him was the Vietnam War and 58,000 of our kids, and a lot of them were minorities, dead, killed, okay? Mm-hmm. My family was affected because my brother-in-law ended up with Agent Orange because he was part of the National Guard unit that was sent there from Rhode Island, okay? Yep. So thank you, Lyndon. A Democrat, okay? Key up number two, Kevin. This is Robert Byrd. Yep. Wonderful Robert Byrd, who Hillary Clinton said was her idol, was somebody that she looked up to all the time. Robert Byrd, key up the next slide, number 3, of Robert Byrd. Slide number 3. And Robert Byrd, again, was from the South. He was a Southern Democrat, and he was part of the Ku Klux Klan. He was a grand wizard in the Ku Klux Klan, okay? And what else? Bogy, he was a Democrat.
Right.
All right? Can you key up 3, Kevin? Yeah, there he is, in his garb, okay? That's the great, wonderful Robert Byrd, who Hillary and the rest of the Democrats looked up to.
Now, hold on.
Not one word said.
What's on his arm there? What flag is that?
That is the Southern Cross.
That the Democrats, said, we no longer want that used up there as a flag, nothing. But it's okay to have their own, idolize him.
That's right. He was in it, he dabbled in it, he said, for 30 years. But when you look back into it, he was a grand wizard in the Ku Klux Klan. Democrat. Key up number 5, okay? Trayvon Martin, who our current president referred to as, this could have been my son. It was unfortunate that he got killed, but he ended up causing a problem that he ended up losing his life over. But our president said that he could have been my son, okay? Trayvon Martin. Key up 6, Kevin. This right here, folks, is Christopher Lane, a student from Australia going to college in the United States. Young kid, had his whole life in front of him. And if you key up number 7, Kevin, these 3 kids, African Americans, killed Christopher Lane while he was jogging, okay? Mm-hmm. Obama, Sharpton, or John Lewis never so much as addressed this or apologized to the parents of Christopher Lane. And why didn't Obama say that Christopher Lane could have been his son? After all, Obama is half white. Key up slide number 8. John Lewis, John L. Lewis, right? As we were talking off camera, we were talking earlier, he was on a bridge in a civil rights march, which, unfortunate, he got beat up. But then all of a sudden he becomes the icon of civil rights? No, sorry, folks, he isn't. In fact, he is the representative of one of the most depressed and awful areas in this country, and that is the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia, okay? Never did he ever file one bill that would have made life any better or easier for African Americans.
Hold on, is there still an inner city there?
I don't even know. Okay.
Well, of course there is.
Okay.
Are there still something called inner cities? That's been my contention.
The
right?
network that we have, okay, through the Men's Baseball League, one of the biggest leagues in the country, is out of Atlanta, Georgia. So I called on it. I said, what's the story about John L. Lewis? Never did anything. 0, bupkis for his district, okay? And how did he all of a sudden go in as the average guy, not much money, and now he's a multimillionaire? 30 years in Congress. Think about that, folks. And think about how he labeled, and he said that this was the first inauguration he wasn't going to go to, but he lied about that. He lied about it because he didn't go to George W. Bush's because he said that Bush wasn't a legitimate president. Same line he used on Trump. I know if you jump in anytime you want, but
no, I'm letting you go. Go for it.
He also turned around and he said that McCain and Palin, when they were running, were going to raise up the rhetoric raise up the heat on racism in America. In other words, anybody that was across the aisle from him, and they were white, they had to be white, he labeled as a racist. That's John L. Lewis, who is not the icon of the civil rights, of any civil rights march or any civil rights cause. John L. Lewis is a phony, in my opinion.
Who endorsed Trump? MLK's niece?
And son.
And son.
Okay, so this, folks, in case you don't know, some of you may be too young, that's George Wallace, okay, governor of Alabama, right? He's standing in front of a college there in Alabama while he's being served by the U.S. sitting president, John Kennedy at the time, for standing in the way and not letting an African American attend that university. I want to point out to everybody that George Wallace, folks, was a Democrat. Just so the Democrats and the NAACP, if you're listening, ought to take good heed about this. Anything that happened that hurt the African Americans in this country, to put them down, was done by one group, and that was the Democrats, period. Okay, key up number 11, please. Al Sharpton, right? Al Sharpton has gotten more people, whites, fired from any type of TV show or radio show if they so much as said anything. Most notably, he got Don Imus fired, okay? And Al Campanis, who was the former general manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, because they made some reference to African Americans as being maybe different athletically. But here, folks, he's saying white folks was in the caves while we was building empires. We built pyramids before Donald Trump ever knew what architecture was. We taught philosophy and astrology and mathematics before Socrates and them Greek homos ever got around to it.
Wow.
Al Sharpton, part of the NAACP, your civil rights leader today and a Democrat, he refers to Greeks as being homos. That's disingenuous to both Greeks and homos. You don't refer to people, homosexuals as homos, okay? And not all Greeks are homos, Al, just in case you're wondering. And by the way, you've got 4 kids out of Duke University's lives ruined. and their college careers ruined because you were part of the lie that was perpetuated down there that they raped some black prostitute, which they found out didn't happen. Just like you got those cops in New York City in trouble for Tawana Brawley because you lied about that. Key up the next one, which is number 12. Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, two poverty pimps, in my opinion, who got rich from perpetuating one thing and one thing only, racism. That's all. They were a one-trick pony, and they are successful because they do not want to see the African American in this country get ahead, because if they do, then they're not needed anymore. They don't make any more money, because if the African Americans are doing good, then we don't need these pimps around anymore trying to help them, because they haven't helped them at all. Okay? And by the way, he's $4.5 million owed to the IRS. Okay? Other people lose their houses, their careers, everything. He owes $4.5 million to the IRS. What are they doing about it? Nothing. I wonder why. Key up slide number 13. The lovely Harry Reid. Okay? Look what he's saying. And again, a Democrat. In 2008, Harry Reid said he was impressed by the light-skinned Obama's lack of Negro dialect. Who's a racist there? That wasn't a Republican that said that, folks. That was a Democrat, Harry Reid.
At the time, the head of the party.
Head of the party at the time. And also a liar, because he's the one that said that Romney hadn't paid taxes in 10 years. And then afterwards, when he was confronted with it, when they found out that Romney had, he said, well, he didn't win, did he? So
whatever it takes.
That's whatever it takes, okay? Key up slide number 14. This next witch I want to report, this witch out of California, Maxine Waters, she referred to, you said the sequester she said that the sequester at the time would cost 170 million jobs. It only would have, smart enough lady, there's only 134 million people left holding jobs. Not only does she have her facts wrong, but when the Bush administration went in front of Congress, and most notably her, to tell them that we were going to get hit with that housing bubble, that housing collapse, she told them they were liars, and they didn't like the fact that African Americans were getting a piece of the American dream with getting those houses that they couldn't afford. And what happened? That almost bankrupted America completely. This idiot said that they were wrong and they lied, because all she wanted to do was perpetuate the lie that ended up hurting those African Americans that put their money into those homes that they ended up losing. I know I'm on a roll because I had
Keep going.
Okay?
Go ahead.
Number 16, I'm sorry. Funny how Hillary can't remember everything about Donald Trump's past, but she can't remember a thing about her emails or the Benghazi hearing, another Democrat, who they're trying to say, oh, should have legitimately won. No. She was the one who called half of America deplorable, and she was the one who decided not to go and campaign in those states because they were going to be a waste of time, because she thought she had those people in the bag, right? And isn't it strange how they just closed their foundation, right? And no reference ever made. You talk about the Russian connection, no reference is ever made by the news media on how she allowed and got 20% of our uranium to be controlled by the Russians, by a Russian businessman. Thank you, Hillary. Okay. Last slide, number 17. Oh, I'm sorry. It's right here. If Michael Brown and Eric Garner and Trayvon Martin had been killed in Afghanistan, Barack Obama, Eric Holder, or Al Sharpton, and Jesse Jackson, and John Lewis wouldn't even know their names. Wouldn't even know who the hell they were. Mm-hmm. Because how many kids have been killed in those wars?
Well, we don't. Yeah,
they don't count.
Soldiers that die for this country.
Right.
We don't celebrate them as much as people who are in the middle of some racist war zone, if you will.
And by the way,
or riot.
We're in a war in more countries now than we ever have been under any other president.
Absolutely.
Even World War II.
Yeah.
We're bombing the hell out of a number of countries: Somalia, Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, okay? This lovely Democrat president who is all for peace. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the reason why I got so upset, this is the last slide I wanted to show everybody, okay? In case, and I blacked out the company because I didn't want to show who the company was, but in case you're out there applying for a job, this question is going to come up. It's called the self-identity questions, and that is, they want to know what your race is, what your gender is, and whether or not you're a handicapped veteran. Now, I don't understand that in today's age that we can't look at people as being people, that they so much as still have this on an application for a job that they want to know what gender and what your race is. What difference would it make? You see, I'm not a racist, but I am pissed off at those people that I perceive to be racist. And I think that most of the leaders today, starting with the Black Congressional Caucus and the NAACP, aren't doing not doing a lick of good for the African American out there that's trying to work and get ahead. Not a bit of good. Anyways, that's my wrap up for the day, Bogue.
That's a very good rant.
I don't apologize because I have had it with this whole system that stinks.
That's how you feel.
Yeah, it is. And those 68 or whatever, 70 congressmen, women, they're not going to go to the inauguration. Good. Like Trump said, give me your tickets because I can use them. I've got 2 friends going down.
Listen,
one of them's actually going to one of the balls. By the way.
Who wasn't it? Obama and all of the Democrats for a while who were saying, "Oh, the right media, the extreme right, they're all promoting violence."
Yeah.
But CNN
Today.
this morning,
Right.
I think it was, last night or this morning, and today is the 19th. Okay.
Correct.
They said, well, if there's ever a disaster at the inauguration, an Obama cabinet member would become president or would be put into office. And is that not insinuating violence? Is that not wishing for violence?
Why would you? You know what that's saying?
Designated survivors. That's what they're actually thinking about. If everybody was just, unfortunately, blown up and gone.
You know what that says to me? When you told me that off camera before we got on, that says to me that's called wishful thinking.
That's right.
That's like handing that last bit of candy out there to those people and saying, you know what, there could be a big disaster.
Did you hear this about Obama before he got in?
No,
Nope.
not a word.
Did any of the networks say anything like that?
Never.
Nope.
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 Did anybody-
If they did, what would have happened to them?
Did anybody refuse to go to his presidency when at the time there was a question about his legitimacy, whether or not he was born in the States?
And Sheriff Joe Arpaio, just last month, isn't giving up with that. He hired another independent forensic specialist who absolutely insists, puts his life on it, that the birth certificate is really fake. And he said, look, something like, people have made fun of this story because they all want Obama to stay in because they like him so much, but it really is fake. Out of all my experience, he said, this is fake.
So what Arpaio did clarify when he said that was, he said, listen, I'm not talking about anything else beyond this. The fact that that document is fake. So you take it to the next step and say, okay, why would you produce a document about your birth that's being faked?
Right.
Why? If I got caught doing that, and just today I had to hand in documents so that I could substitute teach, if I got caught doing that, I would be dismissed thoroughly. Or if I got caught doing it after I had the job, I would be fired.
Do you remember Orly Tates? Does that name ring a bell?
No, not even close.
She was the woman with blonde hair, middle-aged, who was trying desperately to get the Obama birth certificate case into the Supreme Court to make him prove that he was a U.S. citizen. And it kept getting thrown out. She was trying so hard to sue. And this is going back 8-9 years ago, okay? She uncovered, along with Jerome Corsi, remember him?
Yeah. That name I remember.
Jerome Corsi who was a reporter, right-wing reporter, granted, but they uncovered a document that they posted, and it looked pretty damn real to me, that Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party were complicit in removing a line from the nominee form, to be the party's nominee, with regards to citizenship in the U.S., believe it or not. It was doctored. The document was doctored. It was edited. The document that we use, that both parties have used for decades and decades to nominate their choice, okay, was doctored. That's what they were saying. To basically cover up everything and get Obama in, get him over that threshold to get him to run. Okay, and so it was. And listen, look, judging and seeing. This cannot be denied. Judging and seeing what the Democratic Party did to Bernie Sanders and Bernie's millions of supporters. Do you think really that they wouldn't doctor a document and edit a document for their gain? Of course they would. They shafted their own people. They shafted their own constituents. They shafted their own guy, Bernie Sanders.
There's not even a blip on the radar screen about what the Democrat Party did.
Look what the email said.
Yeah, orchestrated that whole. It was a joke. It was a dog and pony, smoke and mirrors, to get her in there, to get her, get her the primary. And not a word is said about that. But we're talking about rushing, and they keep using the wrong word, hacking. They use that word, hacking. No. What the Russians did was they just unveiled, and I still believe with Julian Assange, that he did not get it from them. He got it from somebody within the United States, and I believe somebody within the Democrat Party. That's where he got the information. But, are we forgetting what the information was?
I know we've forgotten. I know we've already forgotten the couple of Democratic staffers who were shot dead.
Well, 2 were staffers.
Yep.
3 were Democrats that were going to be giving testimony in
That's right.
Clinton's cases.
In Clinton's cases.
5 of them died within a 6-week period.
Yep.
Yeah. So, when you start talking...
Those are lives.
Yeah.
I want to pause there for a second because I think it's important what we're losing sight of. We throw around dead bodies like it's, oh yes, he died, that person died, she died, that holistic doctor died, they died. Let's not forget something here. Life is precious. And the definition of sinister, to me, is a group of people or a person who has little regard for human life. Let's not forget the list of people who have died under this government. And I'm not just talking about Democrats either. Democrats and Republicans, okay? But yes, it has been sensationalized, the long list of people that have perished under the Clintons, okay? Obama bragging that, oh yeah, I kill a lot of people with drones, right? Yeah. Bragging. That was one of his popular quotes.
But it was...
He is, like you said, we're at war in 5 or 6 different places right now.
Bombing.
We have souring relations. They've collected more taxes from the American people than any modern U.S. president and administration. So, I mean, and yet people in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, people across America who are pro-Hillary, whoever they are, wherever they are, on the fringes of the nation usually, most of them, they are very bitter, they are very angry. And I wonder if they know why they're bitter and angry. Is it just because they hate Trump? Do they realize the kinds of people who are behind the scenes that care not for them? They don't give a damn about their lives because they're sinister. They don't care whether you're pro-Hillary or pro-Trump. They don't care whether you're anti-Hillary or anti-Trump. All they care about is maintaining their own immediate domain and power structure. They will send a bulldozer through your house. Zuckerberg is taking people to court because he wants to protect his... Okay, so hold on. He wants to build walls or something like that, and he wants to overtake property from people who have inherited the houses that they've owned through generations. He doesn't care. He wants to take it all out. He's taking them to court because he wants to expand
his property.
He wants to expand his property.
Yeah.
He has no regard for anyone else's lives.
No.
He wants to do it, and I don't care how long you've had that property in your family. I don't care. I want to expand. Screw you.
Yeah.
This is the mentality and the disposition of these people in power in our country right now, and it's not good.
No.
And yet you have people cheering for division, cheering when they say they want to assassinate Trump. They're cheering these things. They don't realize what they're really cheering. Because if anything like that goes down and all hell breaks loose, then
we all lose.
We all lose. You won't be able to leave your house to go buy a gallon of milk.
You bring up on this show a number of times about the holistic doctors that have been murdered. Murdered. They were murdered.
And
There's
before them, bankers, by the way, but go ahead.
Okay. They were murdered, okay. And that was because they were all of a sudden hitting upon some stuff that the big pharma, whoever you want to call it, found a little bit sensitive. So people out there today, oh, you always hear, oh, there is a cure for cancer. And we're down to a couple of minutes. I want to say this as quickly as possible because I want to prove a point. They always say that there is a cure for cancer, but they don't want to give it to us. And there's a cure for diabetes, but they don't want to give it to us because they're making too much money on the remedies, okay? And that could be true. But let's apply that same logic to the people that are in the seats of government that are black Americans, okay? Like the Al Sharptons, the John Lewises, the Maxine Waters, the whole black congressional caucus. If all of a sudden, all African Americans in this country rose up, were able to make a decent wage, have a decent job, and were starting to be comfortable, and all their kids were going to good schools.
Inner cities. Let's focus on inner cities. Go ahead.
If they all rose up, okay, and things were happening good, guess what? All of the cottage industry that Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and John L. Lewis, and Maxine Waters, and Sheila Jackson, all of those people, they disappear. They become irrelevant. Something we've said on this show for a long time, irrelevant. Yeah. They do not want to see that happen. And that you can apply that same logic to why they didn't want to see Trump get in. Because already he said, here's 20% back from the money that was spent on the transition. He was very frugal about it. He said, here, there's another $1 million back, put it into the general fund. And that's the way he's going to start working the government. He's already said, the arts and humanities thing, which you and I are from the arts, he said that department's gone. Why do we need it? And we don't, because that's all state level stuff. The Department of Education, I hope he dismantles that completely because education is state level. You know that. We're both in education, okay? Anyway, I want to get down. Last minute, try to leave it on a good note. I went to see La La Land, okay? My wife had to go see it. My wife's daughter, myself. Folks, it's terrible. Terrible. It is so bad. And and I didn't know this, but Hollywood created a whole new category just so La La Land could win. Never had that category before. I swear, never had that before. And I don't watch those award shows, but I read that they created that new category. La La Land
I forget who's in that.
Not Gyllenhaal. What's his name? Gosling. Ryan Gosling and what's her name? Watson, I think her name. I can't remember her name. She was in one of the Spider-Man. No, not Emma Watson. She was in the Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield. Anyways, folks, save your money. It stinks. It's terrible. Now, my sister-in-law got us tickets to go see Hamilton in New York. So I'll let you know about that when we go see it. It's in another month. We're going to be down there to see it. Okay. I'm going to give it a chance. Okay. Anyways, thanks for watching. If I've offended anybody out there, good. Start thinking. That's what we try to get you to do. Start thinking. Use your gray cells, as Hercule Poirot used to say. Thanks. Yeah.